The shifting tectonic plates of global power are increasingly colliding in the Himalayas, transforming Nepal from a historically insulated buffer state into a highly volatile theater of great power competition. As the nation navigates its pivotal March 2026 elections, the traditional paradigms of South Asian geopolitics are proving insufficient to explain the rapid domestic upheavals redefining Kathmandu's political landscape. Within the analytical frameworks of strategic realism, a compelling and deeply consequential thesis has emerged: Nepal is no longer merely experiencing organic democratic friction, but is instead being subjected to a sophisticated campaign of asymmetric proxy contestation. Driven predominantly by the imperatives of Western grand strategy, specifically the United States Indo-Pacific Containment Doctrine, this realignment appears meticulously designed to exploit the structural fragilities of Nepal's nascent federal republic. The objective is to leverage the sovereign nation as a geopolitical wedge, disrupting Beijing's strategic depth in Tibet while simultaneously complicating New Delhi's regional hegemony. To comprehend the sheer necessity of this drastic proxy intervention from the perspective of Western intelligence, one must analyze the perceived strategic failure of Nepal's traditional republican leadership. For decades, Western capitals operated under the assumption of purchased influence, only to observe entrenched domestic elites functioning as transactional double agents. These leaders engaged in relentless multi-vector hedging, readily absorbing vast sums of American financial assistance while simultaneously courting Chinese infrastructure capital to ensure their own parochial political survival. Humiliating domestic scandals, ranging from the internationally condemned Bhutanese refugee extortion crisis to rampant state-sponsored visa fraud, were interpreted in foreign capitals not merely as symptoms of moral decay, but as a direct mockery of Western institutional trust. Recognizing that these compromised, rent-seeking politicians could no longer be relied upon to execute a definitive, anti-Beijing strategic pivot, external intelligence apparatuses allegedly transitioned toward a policy of total political replacement. This strategic pivot birthed the meteoric ascent of political novices such as Kathmandu Mayor Balen and Rastriya Swatantra Party, RSP, Chair Rabi Lamachane. In geopolitical environments characterized by profound economic stagnation, the sudden emergence of highly capitalized, algorithmically dominant political networks strongly indicates the presence of substantial external structural support. By elevating politically inexperienced actors devoid of entrenched domestic constituencies, and who possess acute vulnerabilities to foreign legal or financial leverage, such as Lamachane's widely documented exposure to unresolved financial scrutiny in the United States, foreign apparatuses can effectively cultivate highly pliable proxies. The rhetoric of these actors, which heavily instrumentalizes abstract anti-corruption narratives while demonstrably ignoring the systemic flaws of the electoral framework itself, serves as an effective populist smokescreen for a broader foreign policy realignment. Furthermore, the systematic dismantling of established historical parties to pave a clear electoral runway for this new vanguard is allegedly being managed from within by deeply embedded operatives. Figures possessing documented historical ties to foreign intelligence networks are accused of engaging in orchestrated, theatrical political conflicts to mask their shared allegiance to external patrons, effectively eroding the traditional Nepali state from the inside out. The architecture of this proxy strategy relies fundamentally on the sophisticated weaponization of Nepal's informational ecosystem. The contemporary democratic process is highly susceptible to narrative capture, particularly when exposed to an asymmetrical influx of transnational capital. Over the past several years, an estimated infusion of over $900 million by the United States into Nepal has been channeled through sprawling bureaucratic entities, effectively subsidizing a new tier of domestic civil society and media infrastructure. This financial architecture has cultivated localized media nexuses, such as the digital outlet epertifas.com, that demonstrate a stark, consistent editorial alignment with Western containment doctrines. Outlets that aggressively frame Chinese infrastructure investments like the Belt and Road Initiative as predatory debt traps, while simultaneously elevating domestic populist figures, function less as independent watchdogs and more as narrative force multipliers. Crucially, this localized informational warfare requires the global legitimacy provided by international wire services and broadcasters to achieve its strategic ends. Here, a disturbing phenomenon has emerged within the upper echelons of the journalistic establishment. Localized correspondents for premier global outlets are increasingly functioning as a modern comprador intelligentsia, acting as public relations surrogates subsidized by Western soft power initiatives. The cooptation of this media class operates through the opaque political economy of international journalism, where local fixers who secure highly coveted bylines frequently operate within a tightly knit ecosystem sustained by Western developmental grants and foreign-funded non-governmental organizations. This institutional architecture creates a profound structural conflict of interest, cultivating an environment where international prestige is implicitly contingent upon producing narratives that seamlessly align with Washington's strategic goals. The synchronized, hagiographic international coverage of Balen saw as the direct manifestation of this institutional capture. By bypassing rigorous investigative scrutiny of his administrative record and aggressive rhetoric, these journalists actively curate a globally digestible illusion, manufacturing a telegenic figurehead perfectly tailored for Western consumption. Documentaries and international profiles do not merely report on a political phenomenon, they launder an engineered geopolitical maneuver, presenting it as a spontaneous, organic triumph of the Nepali youth. The strategic utility and the inherent danger of this realignment became violently apparent during the targeted unrest of September 8 to 9. Analyzed through the lens of hybrid warfare rather than spontaneous civil disobedience, the events exhibit a chilling level of tactical sophistication. The precise, coordinated degradation of vital state infrastructure, including the targeted arson of parliamentary buildings, the Supreme Court, and irreplaceable historical state archives at Singh Durbar, constituted a calculated operation designed to permanently destroy crucial legal evidence and paralyze state capacity. This hybrid warfare was equally psychological, aimed directly at breaking the sovereign spine of the nation. The deliberate, highly publicized brutalization of Nepal police officers was a calculated maneuver designed to permanently shatter the morale of an internal security apparatus once celebrated globally for its professionalism. Furthermore, the orchestration of nationwide jailbreaks releasing professional criminals into the populace, alongside allegations regarding the mobilization of foreign operatives acting as expendable human shields, reflects advanced destabilization doctrines. Security analysts interpret this precision violence as a punitive measure orchestrated against Nepali security forces in retaliation for Kathmandu's historical refusal to facilitate Western-backed Tibetan separatist agendas that would provoke Beijing. By utilizing localized proxies to sideline crucial infrastructure projects near sensitive geostrategic choke points, this new political bloc effectively serves Western interests by denying China logistical footholds south of the Himalayas. The ultimate and most tragic casualty of this profound, systemic foreign infiltration is the institutional integrity of the Nepali state itself, specifically the historical bedrock of the nation, the Nepali army. Without the protective, unifying shield of a sovereign, politically insulated head of state, the military remains acutely vulnerable to the exact same external financial manipulation and political coercion that has entirely hollowed out the civilian Republican leadership. It is in this dire, existential context that strategic realists present their starkest counterargument, the absolute, non-negotiable necessity of restoring the constitutional monarchy. The thesis posits, with the full weight of historical evidence, that Nepal's miraculous survival and territorial integrity during the most dangerous peaks of the Cold War were solely due to the masterful, fiercely non-aligned diplomacy of its kings, who maintained uncompromising equidistance between Washington, New Delhi, and Beijing. Because a monarch's fundamental allegiance is intrinsically, biologically tied to the survival of the state, and because the crown cannot be purchased, lobbied, or threatened by transnational capital, the institution serves as the only truly impenetrable firewall against foreign subversion. The political platform advocated by the Rastriya Swatantra Party, RPP, which centers on the dismantlement of the current highly corrupt federal electoral structure and the restoration of the monarchy and the Hindu state, emerges not as an exercise in historical nostalgia, but as a rigorously calculated geopolitical imperative. As the electoral dust settles over a fractured nation, the fundamental geopolitical choice facing the Nepali people is brutally clear. To halt its trajectory toward becoming a fractured proxy state, a charred, geopolitical wasteland utilized entirely for foreign hegemonic ambitions, Nepal must reclaim its ancient, stabilizing anchor, ensuring that it remains a fiercely independent, neutral, and sovereign entity amidst the escalating friction of global superpowers.